Good afternoon, Stompin Tom fans, and my YouTube channel. My next guest needs no introduction. He's the author of this fine book, which if you don't have it, you should. Um, and he's also a member of Whiskey Jack, Doogie and Dunn, the duo, and also a heck of a nice fella for
Guilty.
coming to chat with me. How are you doing today, Duncan?
Guilty. Just want to make sure you can hear me okay, Alan. I got my fancy mic here
I can
happening.
hear you great.
Great. Okay.
Good to see you. How have things been?
Yeah, good. Me and I'm having coffee with my pal back here. Of
Yeah,
course, I have to pay.
yeah, of course you do. Um, so how have things been? How's things going with the band? And
Yeah. Okay. So we got a tour coming. We're coming down east,
I heard
and
that.
yeah. So a couple of things. One, of course, the schedule of where we're going to be is on
Mhm.
our webpage, whiskeyjackmusic.com, or somebody can message me and I'll send them the particulars from here.
Okay.
Um, so we've got right now, we have just looking at my schedule, we have May 1st and 2nd. So we're there from our first show is April 26th. Our last show is May 7th.
Okay.
So we're there for quite a while for us. That's a long tour for us. Bunch of old guys on the road. Like, are we never going to grow up, Alan?
We'll try not to have a hurricane coming in for you this time too.
Yeah, no, it really screws it up.
Yeah.
So we have the Monday and Tuesday, which is May 1 and 2. We're going to be in Halifax hanging out with our bass player lives there, Rayo Rocha.
Oh, is
Uh,
he joining you again?
joining as man, he just adds so much sizzle to this show. It's great.
We went to see him again at the Trailside in his Grateful Dead tribute back. He was great.
I heard. Yeah. So we're staying at his place on the Monday and Tuesday. So if anybody in Halifax, if you know anybody in Halifax that
Hmm.
want either a kids show or a house concert.
Right.
I mean, we're there for 2 days with virtually nothing to do,
Okay.
and we just can't find it. Monday and Tuesdays for difficult. It's hard to find gigs on those days. So
Sure.
I'm just spreading the word. If there's anybody out there that can host something, doesn't require much. We can help organize the house concert. If you got 20 friends that want to come to your living room or your rec room, or we did one on January, Douglas and I did one on January 2nd, and there must have
Right.
been 30 people there, and it was like it's just so
Yeah.
fantastic. It's all acoustic, it's
Yeah.
very intimate, and so the idea is you invite your friends, they pony
Hmm.
up 25-30 bucks each, they bring their own drinks, they bring their own food if they want. We get the proceeds
Okay.
uh the show. That's our payment for the show, and if 10 show up, fine. If 20 shows up, even better. So there's no risk other than somebody give us a bed so we can sleep, unless we stay at Rayo's, of course. But
Yeah.
anyway, that's the idea behind the house concert. And then May 5th, which is a Friday, we do have tentatively a gig, but it's not, the contract has not been signed. So
Okay.
I'm just saying, if there's anyone out there that wants to post a show
Hmm.
Friday night, so we expect there'll be more of a demand for a show, and I can
Right.
direct you, any interested party, I can direct them to my agent down there, Don, who's a
Okay.
very nice guy. Yeah,
But let's not forget the big show that I'm looking forward to on April 28th in Charlottetown.
in Charlottetown. Yes, indeed. We start in Summerside. We go to Charlottetown on the 28th. We go to Inverness on the 30th, and then the 1 and 2 we're off, and then the third we're in Annapolis Valley. The
Great
fourth,
spot.
the fourth we drive over to Chester. The fifth, I'm not going to announce it until it's signed. The sixth, we're in Great Village. The seventh, we're in Liverpool, and the eighth, we spend the next 20 hours driving west back home.
Back to Ontario. Well, I'm hoping the weather's better for you this time too. It should be nice around that time.
Beautiful spring. It'll be fine.
Well,
Looking
just a warning, the Charlottetown show, the PEI Mafia will be in attendance, which is me and my aunt
okay.
from PEI. So just a warning.
Okay.
It could get crazy.
We have security, Alan. So don't you worry about that.
So is there anything new coming to the show this time around?
Well, Douglas and I are in the middle of recording a Doogie and Dunn CD. So for those that
Okay,
don't know, we have a duo. We're fairly busy throughout the year with the duo. It's a much more manageable entertainment package to sell and to transport. So
right.
the band shows, we have some terrific shows booked for this fall in beautiful theaters in Ontario. So I'm in the process of finishing up. I'm writing a new show. So the show you're going to
Okay,
see in the spring when we arrive is going to be pretty new, and
right.
depending on the multimedia facilities in the theaters, there'll be a multimedia presentation to go with it. So
Okay,
it's all been I've pretty much finished the concept. I'm just fine tuning the details. So new songs, new jokes, new presentation, new clips of
right.
Tom. So there'd be more of Tom in these shows than in the past. So
Oh, great, great stuff. I can't wait to see it. It's been like I said, sorry about the last time you were here in PEI was kind of a terrible. You guys got out just in time though, didn't you?
I think we got into New Brunswick, so we left the island at 6 in the morning. We got
Yeah.
into Brunswick. It rained for a couple of hours, and then all of a sudden the sun came out and it shone all the way to back west to the big city.
Oh, lucky you
Really,
got out when you did.
really lucky. Yeah.
Because it hit us pretty hard. It hit pretty
Yeah.
hard here. It was we were out of power for 5 days, but
Yeah.
some were out a lot longer than that.
Yeah.
It was and I think there's still some cleanup going on here. There's still trees down in a lot of spots and
Right.
but yeah, it's nothing like I've ever seen here before, that's for sure.
I want to give credit, by the way, to Tony Robertson, I think.
Yes.
He's given me this photo to use in the show or in future. It's just such a great image. I'm going to try and use it. I'm in the middle of I don't know when it's going to be finished, but I'm writing a sequel to my Stompin' Tom book that will include
Yeah.
story about Gordy Tapp and Tommy Hunter and Al Cherney and
Great.
Mac Wiseman and some of the many performers that we've crossed paths with over the year. They're all characters, and they all come with their crazy tales. So, yeah, I'm putting that together now. So I was also thinking, Alan, of doing an audio version of my book of the book that you held up there, the
Right.
My Good Times with Stompin' Tom.
There it is.
Yeah, but it's besides the fact I've recorded some of it, but I wanted to put it together with some of the audio and some of the images I have and make it into an audio book podcast to add to my YouTube channel. And that is something that theoretically I still might do in the future, but I worked on it for a few weeks and thought, man, this is crazy work. I don't have time to do all of that and rehearse for the band and all of that too. So, but it's something that it's on my mind too, because I've had requests in the past to do
Sure.
an audio a version of this book for those that, you're driving down the road like us, 20 hours in the car. We listen to a lot of either podcasts or not books per se, but motivational tapes. No,
Right.
you don't need motivational tapes for our travels. No, we're pretty
Right.
motivated as it.
Well, I have a crazy idea. It's probably kind of expensive and kind of out there. What about a documentary about your book? Because there's been
Yeah,
some really good documentary. Did you see the Doug and the Slugs one recently? It was really well done. It's
no.
on CBC Gem. It was done by the girl who used to live next door to Doug. And she was friends with the family and she did it. And it was a really well done documentary. I was just thinking that would make a cool documentary or
Well, it would require someone with some pretty
yeah.
good producing and directorial skills. I produce videos for my YouTube channel, which
Mhm.
I'm well over 1,600 subscribers. So
Yeah.
it is popular. If anybody wants to find it, you just have to go at Banjo Dunk. Just type that in and the channel will come up. But it's or youtube.com/Banjo Dunk.
Okay.
Over the years I've collected videos of Gordon Lightfoot and JP and us
Yeah.
and Douglas and I have produced videos and we've shot footage from some of our shows, some of our birthday celebrations.
Yeah.
So there's video of Lena, for example, singing
Right.
the French song, and there's Adrian Clarkson on there singing the Martin Hartwell story. So there's some really cool stuff
Yeah.
on the channel. So that was my idea behind creating some of these, an audiobook podcast that I could upload onto YouTube and maybe increase my subscribership. But anyway, that's something for the future. Documentary, that, you know, I was introduced a couple of days ago on LinkedIn by a podcaster here in Toronto. Mike is his name.
Okay.
Mike Boone. He's the godfather of podcasts. This guy,
Right.
well over 50, just about 1,200 episodes of the who's who of the entertainment industry in Ontario and really beyond Ontario. Anyway, he introduced me to one of his guests. I haven't spoken to him yet, but he made a pitch to CBC for a Tom video, for a Tom movie or documentary, and the CBC didn't accept it. But I'm looking into that, Alan, and see if we can revive this idea and get some more coverage.
Or even a Whiskey Jack documentary in general. Like, I mean, you guys have been gone for a long time, and
well,
it's
but there's no, we're not big stars. Nobody gives a shit about us. We're just this little.
that's not true.
Well, we don't have any notoriety. I mean, we've never been arrested, Alan. So how are we going to get in? How are we going to get in the news? We haven't been caught cheating on our wives. Like, what's that all about?
We'll have to work on that when you get to Charlottetown.
Hasn't had to resign. I know early in COVID, I had to lay him off because we had a cash flow problem, if you remember that. And then he called in. His wife's a lawyer. His brother's a lawyer. Next thing you know, I'm getting letters from all these lawyers saying the idea of laying off, that you're a musical genius. And I say, well, I can't afford them. And then he calls me and he's crying on the phone. And so I got to hire him back. And it was ugly, but that didn't get any press, Alan. It was, it takes, I don't know, no, you have to do something really dastardly to get press these days. And
it seems that way, doesn't it?
Now, one other thing we're doing, we have a show coming up at the Moonshine, a Tom show.
Oh, you're finally bringing it to Oakville.
We haven't done one in the GTA in 3 years,
right?
And I didn't have the capacity, or it wasn't safe enough to do a birthday celebration,
right?
Plan one. So I'm just hosting. It's a small, as you know, a small club, but JP plays there all the time. There's, it's the place to play between Toronto and Hamilton. So I'm bringing the show there, and he doesn't know it yet, but you know who Chris Scott is?
I do know who Chris Scott is. I've interviewed him.
Well, Chris and I have been talking, and I think there's a story there. I'm going to bring him on in that show.
Right.
And he and I will chat and maybe get him to sing a song. But anybody who's seen that classic Tom movie, Across This Land. Is it Across This Land?
Yeah. Across This Land, yeah.
He's in that, and he's got some great stories. So anyway, so we're doing that in April. Before we leave, actually, we're doing that. When are we doing that? April 23rd. And I forget where I was. Oh, I know. Douglas and I are opening there's a new act out of Alberta.
Mm-hmm.
They're called Over the Moon, and it's a husband and wife team.
Right.
The husband's name is Craig Bignell. Craig is a Whiskey Jack alumni from the 1980s. He toured with the 1980s, and he moved out west when he played with George Fox and Susan Aglukark. He's toured with Frank Miller, tons of people, and a virtuoso on guitar, banjo, percussion, great banjo player, and his wife Suzanne Levesque. So the two of them are touring Ontario. They've had Juno nominations, Folk Music Award nominations.
Right.
Just got back from the Folk Alliance in Kansas City. So I'm producing 3 shows for them, one in Toronto, one at the Moonshine, and then one up in Alliston sometime in May.
Okay.
So that's for Douglas and I. This is a chance for us to get to play to a brand new audience. So these folks they've traveled the world. They've traveled China, the UK, taking their music pretty much everywhere. So they're going to draw, a very nice crowd, a
Right.
whole different crowd. So it's all, again, that's all accessible on social media. You can get a hold of me and I'll tell you about. But that's a beautiful duo. This duo. Too bad I don't have a picture to show you, but
That sounds
and
amazing. That sounds like a really awesome
you
tour.
actually just say
Okay.
this is that's what they look like.
Okay.
And
Oh, she plays the upright bass.
she plays the upright. Imagine a duo, a beautiful woman playing an upright bass. They get a lot of attention.
I bet.
Yeah,
Is it just the two of them?
just the two of them. Sometimes they add, sometimes they add a bass player or whatever, but I think mostly it's just the two of them. Douglas and I might join them for a song or two.
Oh, of course. That'd be an amazing jam session.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and what kind of stuff do they do? Like, is it do they do their own material or do they do covers or?
What do they call it? They call it, it's cowbilly. You
Okay,
can imagine they're from Alberta, so it's got a
Right.
cowboy. They live on a ranch, so it's got an Ian Tyson flavor.
maybe Core
They were
Blund kind of
friends.
feel to it.
Exactly. They
Okay,
were good friends with Ian, so they will have some Ian story. In fact, I think they were neighbors. Yes,
okay.
they live nearby. So
Wow, that sounds like an awesome show. If I thought I could make it back to Ontario to see some of the shows, I might try to do that.
yeah,
It'd be great to well, it'd be great to see you guys at the Moonshine.
for
And
sure.
I'm really intrigued on the Chris Scott thing because that guy is an incredible performer himself.
It's quite a story. Yes, it's quite a story.
Yeah, and I guess the last time you guys played there, you were just Doogie and Dunn at the time.
Whiskey
Um,
Jack never played there.
Yeah,
Never.
but yeah, it's a great venue. It's a great intimate venue. Right in the middle of Oakville. Like it's an awesome spot. I've seen a few bands there. I've seen JP and Dave Gunning there.
Well, JP, I think they play there fairly often, don't they?
Every time he's in Ontario, I think he stops
Yeah.
in there.
Yeah.
So I think,
He was kind of pissed off on Facebook the other day.
oh, I didn't see that. What was that all about?
Get on and check it out. The East Coast Music Award
Okay,
policy. It's like, these award organizations, they have their own way of
right,
doing it. And there's always people left out. And, there's like Whiskey Jack after 45 years. We had some success in the folk community west of the Ontario border.
right,
But, in Ontario, here we were, a Tommy Hunter show,
right.
all these albums, we had airplay, we were on the road for so many years, and
Mhm.
yet the folk community, except for Hamilton, folk community never really acknowledged us. And certainly, so, I think JP was just pointing out some of the discrepancies in their policy. Check it out. I'm not going to quote for him, but
Right.
just get on his site and read what he has to say. He doesn't. They I think they banned him or something.
Oh, it's a shame because he's
You know-
such a
you
good,
know what
he's
it's
a
like?
great musician and performer.
Well, no, he's like Tom.
Yeah,
No bullshit. Just
Yeah.
there's no bullshit, and he
Yeah.
just tells it like it is. You got to admire that. I love that. Another character that you probably as a Canadian musical historian yourself, Mendelssohn Joe.
yeah, he passed away this week.
Yeah, no, there's another guy. I
Yeah.
think he and Tom would have either been best of buddies or they would have had a fist fight. They two incredibly principled men who,
Yeah.
lived and died by their principles. Very talented, very artistic people, but the principles really was were the beacon that led their lives. They lived their life based on their principles, and I don't know. There's so little of that left in the planet these days. I
It's true.
admire people who lay it on the line, and JP's one of them. So I salute the man for
Sure.
telling it like it is, and not worrying about the consequences or what people think of him.
For sure.
Come on, he's so great. He just
Yeah. I don't know if you saw my interview with Bill Welichka,
no, I didn't.
the former Much Music VJ. He's interviewed Tom, I think, 3 times, at least three
Okay.
times.
Okay.
When he used to host the Outlaws and Heroes show on Much. And I told him that I always thought Moses was kind of like the Tom of television. Because they weren't afraid to do something different. and they were popular because of it, but I think they were kind of chastised a bit by the rest of the media industry, by the way they did things. But, they put people on the air that never would have made it on a bigger network, and they gave them a chance, and they played music that nobody else played. Like Margot's Cargo was in heavy rotation in the 91. Like what other station would play that song on a regular basis? Radio wasn't playing it, that's for sure.
I'll
But
tell you a Moses story. So I've produced or I've hosted my Stompin' Tom birthday show at the Zoomerplex, which is the theater in Moses' studio here in downtown Toronto in Liberty Village.
right.
And it's a beautiful, beautiful theater. In fact, there's footage on my YouTube channel of Gordon Lightfoot singing the hockey song with us from the Zoomerplex. Anyway, the very first time we played there, Moses he didn't invite me or anything. I had rented the theater and we put on our show, and I'm told. So he walks in halfway through our show that afternoon. This was years ago.
Yeah.
And he walked, and he just stands at the back, and the place is jammed, and we're up there, Randy on fiddle and Doug on guitar. We're great. It's a great day. The music's great. And Moses says to his assistant, "Wow, where'd these guys come from? Why can't we have this? Why can't we record this?" And then 2 years later, there we are in Kerner Hall, playing to thousands of people, thanks to Moses Neimer. And he loves Tom, he loves Whiskey Jack, so he's my pal.
No, I mean, the guy gave people chances that never would have got a
Still
chance
does.
anywhere else.
Still
does. Yeah, he still does, even with the Zoomer. He's just, and that's what Bill and I were talking about. Like, if you were a Canadian band on Much back in those days, they'd play you. They'd play your video.
Does Bill have a copy of the interviews that he's done?
It's on my YouTube channel.
Oh no, all the interviews are on your YouTube channel.
They are now. Yeah, I'm starting.
Them? Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll upload this one as well, and you can share it.
No. The interviews he did with Tom.
Oh, I don't know. I think he said he still has them. Says he has a collection of everything he's ever done.
Well, it'd be nice if he
actually, he's got a book coming out in the fall
about
his years at Much.
Oh, okay.
Which should be quite interesting. So he's going to come back on and chat with me when the book comes out.
And he'll use some of that footage, hopefully, to promote his book. So good for him.
I hope so. Yeah, but he interviewed him. Like, he went out to his house a couple of times, and I think the one interview he told me he interviewed him at the record company EMI's lobby. So he's done some really good interviews with Tom, and he said he always got along with him, and said even after the interview and the cameras weren't rolling, they chatted for hours. So
have you interviewed Steve Fruitman?
No, but he's on my list. I definitely like to get hold of him.
So Steve has a library full of interviews that he's done with Tom over the years.
Right.
And so if you're talking to him, ask him. I think he had some plans to do something with those. I don't know what they were, but
that'd be fantastic.
Wouldn't it be to get some highlights from some of those interviews? Yeah.
Well, there's something I'd like to work on. I've interviewed several people that have played with Tom over the years, including yourself and your fiddle player and Billy, who's going to be touring with you again. I have this crazy idea of getting as many of Tom's ex-band members together as possible and doing a show at the Stompin' Tom Center here on the island.
Yeah. Well, it would be a weekend thing. They should organize a weekend thing. It takes money.
It does.
I don't know what the grants are like these days. And, back in 2017, there was a lot of money flowing out of Ottawa to promote, live music and that kind of thing. But these days, I don't know how much money there is, but it would have to be supported or sponsored or financed by Moosehead. What if you know anybody at Moosehead? This is an obvious one for them. This is and I had called them years ago when I first started touring with this show, and I had connected with a fella that were out of someplace, the head office, I think is someplace in New Brunswick. Anyway, I had communicated with him. There was interest because I was making a proposal to him to basically sponsor my tour, because we were coming down. We wanted to come down, and I said, why don't you guys just lend us a Moosehead van
Mhm.
with the sign on with Moosehead. You know, I have pictures of Tom sitting at his bar with Moosehead all around him, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
So he was very
Yeah.
interested, and then a month later I called back and he's moved on to a different company. So
I
much
know
for
I've
that.
mentioned the idea to Ann Arsenault up at
Yeah,
the
but
Stompin,
yeah,
and she
no,
said she's interested. She just wants to know what the cost would be. And I
oh,
guess logistically it would be really hard, but
sure. But think about it. All you need really is, I don't really 5 players, and as long as Billy and I, Douglas, Tim,
I
the
was
rest.
thinking JP and Dave should come.
Oh well, yeah. If they would come, well, then
Yeah.
you wouldn't even need a sponsorship necessarily, because the thing would sell out. Those guys are selling out individually and collectively. They're selling a lot of tickets.
But who better to play Tom's music than you guys who toured with him and know
Exactly.
it back and forth, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
And speaking of Tom's library, I know you guys play a lot of his songs, but I've always wanted to ask you guys, what are some of your real favorites? Maybe some that you don't play, maybe some of Tom's songs that maybe weren't the big hits, if you will.
Well,
Like,
play those. My Last Farewell is probably one of my favorites, and
yeah,
we do that in every show. Um, you know, what's the one? Blue Moon Away. So there's
right,
some songs that we recorded with Tom. By we, I mean Whiskey Jack.
yeah,
When we had the Whiskey Jack Stompin' Tom recording session up at Escarpment Sound back in 1993,
right,
he had written some songs that were really quite perfect for us. Blue Moon Away was one. Let's Smile Again.
right.
Another one. We do that now. Blue Moon Away, we could do that in. We did that for years when Bob was in the band, but um, to me, those are. I would like someday to get maybe 3 session musicians. Douglas is one. Get a bass player. Well, we could do it with what we have, but basically
Right.
record a Stompin' Tom bluegrass album. So in other words,
Okay.
just Stompin' Tom material, bluegrass style, and
Okay.
it's never been done. We've recorded and performed some of his songs that style. For example, Peterborough Postman.
Right.
It's on the first tribute CD that we did
That's
back
right.
in
Yeah.
2014. That's another good one. These are really good arrangements that we did with these songs too. Around the Bay and Back Again, Blue
Right.
Moon Away, Let's Smile Again. The ones that aren't necessarily, they're not the Bud and the Spud kind of songs.
Right.
And maybe even revive that favorite that I performed for pretty much the entire year 2017, called Spud the Bud,
Yeah.
from the
Yes.
BC mud rolling down
Yes.
the highway smiling. These
That's right.
smell great in the back of Spud's crate. From Vancouver Island. They're from Vancouver Island. So like to revive that too.
For sure. That'd be amazing. Yeah, that would be a really good record to hear that done, because it'd be nice to, like you said, hear some songs that aren't necessarily of the Bud to Spud, the big hits kind of thing, because he had so many songs that were deeper than that a lot of people probably didn't know. Like, I forgot when Howard was in your band, your harmonica player. He sang some really beautiful songs of
Oh
his.
yes, what was that one?
Um,
Oh yes, it's on our CD. It's on. It might even. Oh, it's on. You know what? I don't know if it's on Spotify. I don't think we've uploaded that to. We should do that.
yeah,
Um, I can't remember. No, not Smiley. What is it? Anyway, yes, Howard nailed that song. Whatever that song, whatever it is, we just can't remember it. But
like a song that I've been listening to quite a bit lately is a song he did called "If a Memory Was a Melody." I don't know if you've ever heard
I
it.
don't
It's
know that one.
it's a beautiful song. Like, I don't know why that doesn't get more attention.
I'm gonna write that down and check it out. If a memory was the, what does
A
it say?
melody.
I like it.
Oh, it's a beautiful song. Like, it's just beautiful instrumentation, beautiful lyrics. Um,
Yeah, no, he was a master at this, and there were so many that slipped through the cracks, and but that's why we're out there.
For
Uh,
sure. Like
keep-
I really appreciate, like that's what we're trying to do on this fan club page, is try to keep Tom's memory alive, and talking to guys like you and Billy, and whenever we can to try and keep him out there, because I think his music definitely deserves to be kept going strong, because it's just, I always found his songs were history lessons too. Like, I mean, I learned so much about Canada because the Capital song that you guys used to do live when you used to change it up a bit, and like I learned the capitals of Canada because of that song.
Yeah.
And I learned them cold because of that song. That song was a great way to teach kids the capitals of our country. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
and you guys did it amazing justice live by throwing in the territories. That was pretty awesome. And the unofficial capital of Northern Ontario.
Yeah, well, we ham it up a little bit, but I think we did that July 1st in Tillsonburg this year or last year. And I may revive it in the fall when we do our theater shows.
Right.
It's it's an interactive kind of thing, and we can make fun of people in the audience, especially the generation that has no idea what the capitals are.
Right.
I mock them in the show. So
You should too. We should know what the capitals of our country are. It should be right on the tip of our heads whenever you ask somebody something like that.
what do you think of that, Tom? You think I should do that? Just asking him.
That's awesome. Great to talk to you, Duncan. I
Yeah,
appreciate
you
your.
too, Alan. Yeah, we look forward to seeing you in April.
Oh, I can't wait. It'll be great to see the trail sides. Have you been there before?
Never.
It's a great venue. It's probably the best live music venue in Charlottetown.
Okay.
Everybody's played there. JP and Dave have both played there.
Well, my cousin is when just his name just, oh, come on.
Is he a Fremlin?
He's a Fremlin. He plays with Richard Wood.
Okay, Richard Wood's very well known here.
Yeah, no, Brad. What up? Sorry, Brad, if you're watching this. Forgotten here. Anyway, he's a virtuoso keyboard player and a percussionist.
Okay.
And so I know he lives on the island, Alan, and I will email him sometime in April and ask if he's in the area, will he come and play with us at the trail site? There is not a photograph anywhere of two Fremlins playing in Whiskey Jack on PEI. So his brother plays bagpipes. He's our official bagpiper here in Toronto. So
okay,
I have a lot of pictures of his brother Dave piping for Whiskey Jack. He used to pipe us on back in the day. So I'd love to play with Brad.
I can't wait to see you guys. It'll be great to see you back here in the island. And like I said, I hope the weather's better.
Yeah.
And safe travels.
Yeah, thanks.
One more quick question I wanted to ask you. Last time I talked to you, you said you were working with Gate Lapine. Is there any update on that?
You and I could do an entire episode on Gate.
Yeah.
Really, it's a story. It's a book in and of itself. That's a whole different project.
Okay.
His health is much better. Douglas and I now perform. We recorded Snarley's Hill, which is the song that Gate and Tom, they started it. They didn't finish it. They gave it to me.
Right.
I finished the song. There's a song called Blues So Bad we recorded. That's another great song of his.
Right.
Doogie and Dunn did a version of that. Anyway, Gates, yeah, he's first-rate guy. So you and I should do a whole episode on him sometime.
That's something to think. That's something for sure. Yeah, I definitely like to do that. But yeah, I can't wait to see you. Looking forward to seeing you guys back here in the island.
You bet.
It's gonna be awesome. Thanks for joining me, Duncan.
Great fun, Alan. Say bye, Tom.
Bye, Tom.
Bye, Al.
Bye.